to She Show Videos. Today we have
a guest. This is my sister.
Kristen.
Hi.
I'm the pretty one. That's a lot.
That was
We're
a
both
rude
pretty.
start to this.
I think that
show.
was a perfect start.
Okay, everybody who thinks she's nice, here's your sign.
She's the nice one.
Oh, now she's the nice one?
And
you're
pretty
the
one.
sweet one?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Makes
you're-
perfect sense.
Before we get too far into this, can I please remind everyone to like us,
subscribe,
share, all the things.
comments,
follow.
everything.
Hit the bell.
Yes!
Welcome. I like this.
Yes.
I'm following Maddie.
Clearly you have children.
Uh-huh.
If you guys haven't seen it, my niece recently put a video on YouTube.
Yes.
We'll link that so you can go watch her. It's so cute.
It's the cutest thing in the world.
Apparently, it's like a thing, you know, to be a YouTube star now. I've influenced her.
I
We
wouldn't
have
call
influenced
yourself
her.
a star just yet.
Content creator,
Okay.
media
I'll take
mogul,
Mm.
editor extraordinaire.
There's a lot of things I'd call you. None of those are it.
Seems like we're on a different page today.
Today we have Kristen on here, talking about, well, she's in the she shed. It's still cold outside.
We found a table
not
to
bad.
accommodate.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
the
not bad at all.
kerosene heater does work its magic.
It smells
in
a
here.
little, but
Don't
Yeah.
kick it. It's really
Don't
loud.
breathe in the
I
fumes.
singed my hair this morning when I was setting up this table.
Really?
Yes, it smelled like burnt hair for a while.
That could be
I had
the
to check it in the
additional
mirror.
smell.
Luckily, my hair
yeah.
is this, so you
That's
can't even
okay.
tell.
But Kristen is on today. She is a mother of 3. A
Recently.
recent mother of 3.
yes,
Okay, so you've got Mason,
yes,
Madison,
and Hudson,
and
Hootie.
Hudson. Hootie. We call him Hootie.
And we call Madison Squish, so they don't really have names.
They do have
Mason's
names.
just Mason, though, so I don't know what happened there.
Yeah,
So
He's regular.
Mason is 8.
9.
9. Madison is 5.
6.
6. Jesus.
Oh my, you
Get
are
it together,
answer the
woman.
year over here.
Hey, I got too many of these, okay?
Just saying.
And then at 6, well, when you started to have a baby, it was in there. Mason was 8, Maddie was 5, and you
Hudson was-
decided that now was the time.
I did.
How did you decide that? Because both of those children are now outside of diapers.
Right. Far
Outside of diapers. They sleep through the night. Squish loves to sleep
She does.
Yes,
She
yes.
could nap with the
all
best
day
of them.
if she could.
It's true. I mean, Hootie likes to nap too, though.
Hootie's a baby.
I know.
He's full of breast milk. and-
But he doesn't
Giggles.
like to really sleep at night. But so how did we decide?
Yeah, why did you say now is the time? The 2 kids are out of diapers, now is the time to re-up on
Okay,
everything.
so we knew we
We're-
wanted more kids.
New kids. Listen, I'm trying to get some new kids too. Can I trade mine in?
Right. We knew we wanted more kids.
Did Brandon just come to you one day and say, now is the time?
No, I mean we had talked about it.
Come to you. I see what you did there.
You're disgusting.
Oh, I thought that was the
No,
joke.
that wasn't.
That wasn't the bit. Okay. So that's not what happened. I think you told me all along that when Madison went to kindergarten,
Right.
you wanted to have another baby.
Right.
So you just
And that's
Capitalized.
pretty much when we started trying. Although this time it wasn't as easy as the last time.
Brandon did tell me once that 2 times he tried and he made 2 babies. So
Right. This time it was like 30 times we tried and then we finally
Oh.
made a baby.
See, I'm
30
tapping
times?
out. I'm already tapping out. That's God's way of saying no. At 30, he's like, you're old. It's not going to happen.
It was more stressful and it was only like 5 months for us. So I can see how people who take, closer to a year or even longer,
Can
how
be
stressful it
discouraged.
can be.
Yeah.
Yes.
luckily there's some advances in modern medicine. And
Right.
That's
if
true.
our healthcare system would get better, maybe one day that stuff will be
And
Less
another thing,
to
expensive.
access.
Yeah.
like I feel like people our age, well, not our age, but there's a lot of people who.
I thought she was
Take
gonna
it back,
say,
like we're old and you're
no,
young, like
no,
we're
no,
not
no.
the same.
No.
our age.
Like we actually plan for we think about what month we're gonna have a baby in.
Yeah.
Like we plan it out to
Yeah.
the T. So when you get 5 months out and you're like, wow, I was supposed to be off for summer vacation.
I better wait
That's
another
true.
year.
Uh-huh.
It's like it changes everything.
Because I need to be able to drink at vacation, because if you can't drink during vacation, what's the
Nobody
point of
wants to
vacation?
be dead pregnant in the dead of
Been
winter
there.
or summer.
Right.
Been there, done that. It was awful.
So, I mean, we knew that we'd be back in diapers, but I thought, Maddie is very helpful, and I just figured she would help me the whole time, and she has, and Mason helps me. It's like, they can't babysit. They're not old enough to babysit, but when I'm still at the house and working around the house, I can say, hey, you're in charge right now, and Hootie can sit in the room with them in his bouncy seat, and they can give him his binky when he needs it, and bounce his bouncy seat. So, even though, it's work again,
So
it's
is
easier.
I was just gonna say, is it easier
I
with
definitely
this
think
third
it
one?
is.
Then the first,
Absolutely.
Or the
first
second.
two, yeah.
because
We're
I
gonna
remember
check back
Madison.
once he can start moving around, and you got to chase 3 of them around.
Oof,
I don't have to chase my other two around. They're very laid back. There's no chasing them.
that's true. That is true.
Yeah, I don't have to chase mine either.
What are you saying?
I recall us being in a restaurant one time
Oh
and your
my
son
gosh.
pulling down his pants.
That was
Or
one
being in pools
time.
and your son pooping in them.
My
Public
kids
pools.
are feral. I don't even understand because I'm a disciplinarian, so I don't get it. Me or Chris Taylor?
You, but
Yeah, definitely me.
Definitely you.
Okay, so you've got 3 kids. Here's what I want to ask. Okay, let's travel back in time
Okay.
to birthing of each child.
All right.
Okay, so firstly,
Before we get into the birthing, let's discuss, because you have certain requirements for your birthing.
Right.
like
So-
no one's allowed in the room.
People typically, I like family, friends, everyone.
I get everybody in there.
If
Come
you
on.
see
It's a party.
If you've seen one peep, you've seen pretty much them all. So, come on in.
So,
Come
for
one,
me,
come all.
It's definitely not about seeing my private parts. That's all out the window. I
We've
don't-
seen that. We did a boudoir.
We did.
shoot.
I was the photographer.
So that's not really. It's more about, especially with Maddie and Hudson, we didn't know the sex of the baby. So
We know. Remember when you weren't going to tell us?
I do.
Till you came home from the
I
hospital.
do.
All right, before you continue in front of God and everyone, all these thousands of people watching, whose idea was that? Because you said Brandon's, but then Brandon said yours, and I'm concerned
Well,
about
okay,
whose
This
so
it
is
really
going
was.
on the
All right.
world.
So Brandon did bring it up first, but then I agreed. I was like, yeah, that would actually be pretty cool, and my family would hate it, so that would be great.
So since Hootie is a COVID baby,
Uh-huh.
she decided that she wasn't going to tell any of us because we couldn't come to the hospital until she brought him home. Home. So she had him. We still wouldn't find out.
Would show him.
You show
A
his
picture
head
or-
and say
yeah.
that he's fine, and these are the pounds.
It's
and,
fine.
Yeah, it's pounds and ounces.
It's hard to keep it though.
It
a
didn't work
secret.
out.
Thankfully, because that was
And my
Too much
kids
for
just
me.
weren't having it. So when we called and talked to my mom and the kids, the secret came out.
good thing.
Yeah.
Because I was already,
I'll
my
high
stress
five both
level
of them.
was high.
Anyways, so go back to why you so it's because you didn't know the sex, right? But with Mason we knew the sex and you only wanted you and Brandon. So
Right.
talk to me about your
I just think it's a very intimate thing, and me and Brandon are very close. And we're very close with the family, but even with that, there's not a lot of times that we do stuff on our own because, especially our family is
I don't
super,
even know what you're
super
saying
close.
right now.
We do a lot of things together, so it was just one of those things that we could be on our own.
I think we should mention here that you're one of those people that says your husband is your best friend.
Yeah.
So this is one of those areas where I think we differ a lot just in our relationship.
Right.
Chris and I are super open and I agree you and Brandon are more
Close, yeah.
Yeah.
more introverted, more private. Privates.
Okay.
Oh, I'm 5. I don't know what to say.
You are.
Let's also talk about birthing and the differences between your choices in epidural. I remember Mason was too strong in epidural, then you went no epidural or close to no.
Well, okay, so
And then talk to me.
okay, with Mason, I got the epidural right when I could, but then it was by the time that it was time to push, the epidural was too strong. I don't know if I think they can adjust how much medicine they give you, and the epidural was just too strong. So then I couldn't help push, and I felt like I wasn't a part of my labor because I actually had a midwife over me touching my belly to tell me when I was contracting because I couldn't feel them.
See, I had the opposite. They gave it to me too late, and I was like pushing. My vagina felt like it was ready to fall out.
Right.
And then it wasn't until I was in the chair that I was like, my legs are starting to tingle now. Like, I can't feel my lower extremities.
Dang, it should have kicked in sooner. So, and like with Mason, I mean, they use Pitocin, and I feel like that's another thing that really changes a birth. But with Maddie, it was on, like, I went into labor naturally. I started having contractions at home. By the time I got there, it was like, 7 or 8 centimeters dilated. So I was already really close, and they gave me the epidural, and I told them at that point, like, last time the epidural was too strong. I do want the epidural. Well, actually, I was on the fence because I was still scared that I wouldn't be able to help. So I was almost like, no, I'm not going to get it. But they said they were going to put in a catheter. And they're like, well, if you're going to get the catheter, it's going to hurt anyway. So either choose now or just don't do it. And so I was like, well, I don't want to commit to not doing it. I think I'll take it.
I need the option.
Right, but I could feel it then. Like they did, whether it was they gave it to me a lighter dose or whatever, but it was like the perfect amount. So it was really nice.
Yeah.
So then Hudson came along, and so I had to be induced with Hudson. 41 weeks. The other two were like almost a week early. Hudson, 41 weeks.
She was cranky.
It was awful. It was bad.
I remember you praying for
Something.
anything to happen.
Right. So with Mason, we needed the Pitocin. With Hudson, we needed the Pitocin as well. And so the Pitocin, I think, makes the contractions come on a lot quicker and harder. Like you don't get to ease into it. And so I did opt for the epidural, but I did again question it because I was still thinking back to Mason's birth, and I didn't ever want that to happen again. So I mentioned it again, and they're like, the fact that the first epidural was just too strong. And I mentioned it, and they were like, well, there's a fine line. Like, we can give it to you and try to back it off, but it's hard to tell where that fine line is.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like you don't have an epidural if you go too light. And so I'm like, I'm fine with the fine line. Like, let's just go light. And so that's what they did, and they said that I could have a button to push. Well, then things started to go awry. And so I never did get that button.
What? You never got the button?
No.
I have concerns.
Things started to go awry. Tell us how things went awry.
Yeah, because we don't know.
I know, because we're not there. We're not
So,
there.
and to emphasize, like, I could not even talk about this. This birth was the scariest thing that ever
She
happened to
did
me.
cry.
Yeah.
Don't cry now. She's
I'm
gonna
not-
cry now.
Don't.
I'm going to try not to.
Get some tissues. We don't have tissues in the garage. There might be a shop
You
towel.
can use my wrap
Okay.
if need be.
I think I should be okay. I
Okay.
can
Okay.
talk about it a lot easier now.
Okay.
All right.
But, so his heart rate started to drop once they gave me the Pitocin, and the contractions started happening really quick, really close together, really hard. Like, he just couldn't handle it. So they had me like flipping over to the side. Like at first they were really calm, like, oh, we had 2 heartbeats that didn't go back, or heart rates that didn't go back up after the contraction, so generally that just shows the baby's just having a little trouble in that position. So they flipped me to the side. And then they flipped me back to the other side, and it just kept going. And then all of a sudden they're like, get on your hands and knees, and I'm like switching positions, like now, which this is a good thing that the epidural, I couldn't really feel it much because I could actually flip over. Like, imagine if I had a full epidural, your legs don't work. Like, how that would take all your energy there.
They would have to
wouldn't
put
be
you
able
in
to
that
push.
position.
Right. So it was a good thing that I didn't have a full epidural, but I was definitely feeling everything. And so, long story short, he did need vacuumed out, which when you have vacuum in your vagina, and
Sounds fun.
not much of an epidural, it is very painful and
Having
very scary.
the birthing process in general is painful, so I can only imagine them putting a vacuum up there.
Yeah. And so another thing, I wasn't even 9 centimeters, like his heart rate was dropping so constantly that they told me to push through my 9 centimeter, like, because that's,
They wanted
you
the
have to
baby
get
out.
to 9 centimeters for them to put the vacuum in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to push past that. And so I was just, like, my last push, when I'm on my hands and knees and I'm sitting there trying to push, first of all, my arms are, like, dead from trying to hold
Holding
can't even
yourself
imagine
up.
that. I can't even do
Right.
one push-up.
Well, I mean, and they did have the bed elevated, so, like, I started with, you know, my arms extended, and then I'm slowly, like, going down onto the bed, like, I can't lift myself up anymore.
Till you're like doggy style.
And
trying
then
to
they're
have a
like telling
baby.
me to push. I'm like, oh my god, I have no more energy. None. Not an ounce. Like when they put him on me, I couldn't even like lift my arms to like hug him.
Were you sore for days?
You know what? I wasn't really that sore. I mean, I don't know. I bounced back pretty quick afterwards, but it was just so traumatic.
Did they
during-
wipe him off before they put him on your chest?
No. No.
They didn't wipe Brooklyn off before they.
When
That
they
smell?
tried to hand me Miles, I was like, no. I need you
That
to
smell of a newborn,
wipe that down.
newborn baby, right?
like
fresh out.
That fresh. Not even that new. That
No.
fresh baby.
Uh-huh.
No,
Mhm.
that is
weird-
not for me.
That is a weird smell.
That is not
That's
for
a
me.
smell you'll never forget. I'll say that. Okay.
I'm telling you, that's like when they said, do you want a mirror? And I was like, for what? And she
I-
said to watch. I said, oh no.
I did
no,
choose
no.
a mirror with Mason until they were like, we gotta vacuum him out, and they're like, you don't want to see this.
They didn't even offer me a mirror.
They didn't even think Brooklyn was coming. That
That's
one
true.
nurse was trying to get punched because when you kept saying the baby's coming, and she was like, no, it's not. As soon as she spread your legs, she was like, get the doctor in here.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know that something is
That was
pushing down on your canal.
that was an experience that I wish I had a different nurse for. You know, most people really love their nurse because they're like supportive and calming. No.
Yeah. And my nurse was very good this time. I don't know her name. I'm the worst with names. I'm terrible.
But I had good nurses at City with Miles, but none that really like
Stood out.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to write home about. Nothing bad. Nothing good. But my nurse at General is like friends with my whole family now.
Yeah, she
Hey,
was
Erin.
remarkable.
We
She
loved
was.
her.
Uh-huh.
Or
So
love her still.
Yes.
we do, and we have a lot of nurses in the family, so we understand the importance of nurses, but it really can make or break your experience. Once you get into like the after and you're in like your regular room, the
Right.
nursing
Yeah.
doesn't matter as much till you want to punch the dang doula or what's the lactation
yeah.
person.
Get out.
Everybody wants to punch her, right? Right? She's like
They try
shoving
so
them on
hard.
there.
Like, oh, look, it's already on my boob. I don't need you.
Right.
Well, let me just
stop
make sure it's-
touching. Get out.
Right.
Yes. Ugh.
Frustrating.
But
And then let me charge you for that.
that's what they're there for.
I was charged twice. I had to pay for my doctor before Brooklyn was even
me
born.
too.
And then it was an emergency situation, and then I had to pay for the attending doctor.
Yeah.
So
Except it wasn't
See-
an emergency. All babies are emergency. You don't know the moment they're gonna come.
Right. So, like, with me, the first 2 pregnancies, I paid, like,
ahead of time.
ahead of time. But this one I didn't. Like, I kept expecting them to give me a bill because they're like, we like you to have time to pay it off, you know, before
Yeah,
the birth.
me too.
Which I'm cool with. Like, but, so that might
Yeah.
have changed because of stuff like that. I have no idea. But,
I don't
so,
know.
like, this time, I like to use a midwife. They're just in the room with you the whole time. Like, they pretty much do the same thing a doctor does. But because of the vacuum, we had to have a doctor in there, so.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I would assume the midwife got paid and the doctor got paid.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. I have a lot of a lot of people go to the same place around here that does midwives. I just have always had the same OB, so, and then I went to the high risk doctor, and if I could go back to him, I would, but it's not an option for me.
No.
I just never really got down with the midwife thing. I think I was scarred. Remember those one friends we had that did the at-home birth in the pool
But isn't
with
that
the
like a
midwife
doula?
and that?
Isn't that a doula?
I think
I
so.
don't
There's
know,
a
they seem
difference.
similar to me.
They're really, I mean, they're really not. Like I say, the doctor, and I used to actually see midwives to do like my yearly exam and everything. And then after I had Hudson, they told me, oh, the midwives aren't doing that anymore. They're just, if you're pregnant, they'll see you. I'm like, what?
Just one last question. Which one do you think was the better experience out of all 3 of them?
Oh,
If you-
Maddie for sure, hands down, because she was when I went in naturally. Mason, I started leaking, so they had to use the Pitocin. And like I said, Pitocin is the devil.
Remember, you had a trail of water all around your hospital room because
Yeah.
she let me in before they went into labor, and there was like a trail
Right.
of water leaking.
And there was
leaked
a
on
lot
mine,
of
too.
blood, and that scared me. I didn't have blood, like,
With Mason,
like,
there was?
no, with Hudson. When I would walk to the bathroom, like, I'd leave a trail of blood there. Trail of blood. It was just
I would not like that.
Me either.
totally, it was just scary. Scariest thing ever.
I thought it was supposed to get easier with the more you had.
I thought I would go earlier. I thought
I would just like
smooth.
fall out. And
Like during this delivery, Brandon's like, because I think, you know, we've talked about having another one, and during the delivery, he's like, no, I don't think we need another one. Like, and now
That's
we're back
scary.
into talking about it, discussing it, you know. So
That means they're gonna have another one
Four.
for anyone who's watching this.
4 kids. That's a lot of kids.
Has Brandon found the perfect minivan yet? I know he's been on the hunt.
I mean, he knows what kind he wants, but they're hard to find these days. They're hard to find. At
Good
least
ones
low
are hard to
mileage
find.
ones that aren't like, I mean, I'm not trying to pay $30,000 for a minivan. Heck no. Or any vehicle ever.
Yeah, that's a luxury.
I don't
vehicle
buy
at that point.
new. Well, we bought one new and I said never again.
Well, thank you for coming on our
No
show.
problem. Hopefully you'll have me again.
Of course we will.
I have
We
lots
will.
of things I can discuss.
We can talk about some of the joys of pregnancy because Kristen's the one that taught me about the mucus plug in
Good
case
thing.
you're not aware.
I actually
Like,
told
this-
my friend that she was in labor because she was like, something weird just happened in the bathroom, and she described it to me, and I was like, your mucus plug just fell out. And that
It's
was
coming.
because Kristen told me, and I was
Hey.
like,
Mine came out like a month though before
Yeah.
Mason came.
oh, no.
It wasn't like
Mine
the
was
next
like
day
a
or
week.
something. Yeah.
Katie's came out, and I was like, I think you're about to have this baby
And
because...
was it like within the day? Or?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Dang.
I wish my mucus plug never came out with Hudson. My body would have kept that kid in.
My
forever.
mucus plug never came out with Brooklyn either.
Just all your water
British
all
water
over the car.
broke in my car.
It was a company vehicle. You traded
With
it.
tan seats that
You
were
traded
staged.
it in like a day later.
Like a couple weeks, and I had to tell the lady, this is,
Bodily fluid.
yeah, secretion.
Hazardous waste.
Remember it filled your purse? That was
Yeah, I should have
disgusting.
been
Oh
the
my
one that
gosh.
was mad. Okay.
Luckily, I was there to take you to the hospital. Remember when you weren't there when Miles was born?
One time.
I'm basically
my
a
wedding.
EMT over here.
Okay,
All
now
right.
this is gang up on Brittany. We gotta cut this.
All right, people, like us, share us.
Subscribe.
We love
subscribe.
you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.